Cancer takes the lives of more than 500,000 people every year in this country. 1.4 million people get a diagnosis of cancer in this country every year. The Koch Institute is going to be about discovery and solutions.
Work that will be done in the Koch Institute is designed to help bridge that gap between detailed understanding and direct clinical practice.
We are developing new tools,
new approaches, new materials,
new molecules that can be used to silence cancer genes.
That could be cancer's Achilles heel.
David Koch saw the value in what we were doing and fast-tracked this project in unprecedented ways. The Koch Institute is all about the fusion of science and engineering for cancer.
The major impact we can have in advancing treatment and understanding of cancer is blending engineering and molecular and cell biology of cancer.
At MIT, engineering is core to everything.
The scientists inform the engineers, describe the problem, and the engineers approach the problem with the goal of fixing it.
The Koch Institute will be the first of its kind in the world.
I'm absolutely convinced that spectacular advances in the treatment of cancer will be made in the coming years at the Institute for Integrative Cancer Research.
Cancer is a disease that has touched everyone.
Cancer is not just a problem of genes and a challenge scientifically. It's a disease that takes the lives of people.
I'm one of 4 brothers. Each of us has contracted prostate cancer. I'm very hopeful that by the time my children grow up, cures will be available.
The collection of cancer researchers is, of course, a dream team.
These are the giants of molecular genetics. These are the giants of the new thinking around cancer.
These are folks who are superstars. They are the best at what they do.
You can tally your Nobel Prize laureates up.
Phil Sharp, who got the Nobel Prize, he's right next door. Tyler Jacks, who's one of the world leaders in cancer research, right next door.
When you can combine Angelica Ammon, who is the best in her field, with an engineer like Bob Langer, who's won every award there is to win. It's incredibly satisfying to see this process taking hold at this interface of science and engineering coming together, driven by this supremely talented group of people.
We approach the most important, the biggest, the most human parts of science and those big problems that look and seem insurmountable.
I think impossible is one of those words in MIT that you don't hear very often.
The ability to collaborate has been terrific.
When we get in a room to solve a problem, we put the egos aside and we solve the problem.
It's really the students and the postdoctoral trainees who are the ones running around between the labs.
The graduate students and the postdocs are the ones that are going to almost all of the seminars, maybe grabbing a coffee, talking about the research.
The most valuable resource that we generate as scientists is actually the production of future scientists who can carry this work forward.
Now something like 170 people are professors at other universities. A lot of them have started companies and have created new products that can really help people.
We train people to go and work in industry and develop new drugs to tackle cancer.
a fairly substantial part of the building will have core facilities that will serve the purposes of all of the investigators.
On every single floor, there are engineers and biologists connected.
And the purpose of that is to get people together.
When two people bump together, you actually see sparks and ideas happen.
The Koch Institute is going to be nested in the midst of 3 other buildings.
It's literally in the sweet spot.
This will be quite possibly the greatest concentration of biomedical researchers anywhere in the United States.
Sometimes you have what I guess people call a Eureka Moment.
I remember running down the corridor and says,
Wow, this is exciting.
I can't believe this.
That's what I do this for, is to have that happen as often as possible.
You've had a glimpse at the blueprint of life.
Wow. All of a sudden, it seems as if anything is possible when you have a breakthrough like that.
The Koch Institute will have 5 focused areas.
This little device, size of the grain of ice, is essentially trying to take the diagnostics lab in the hospital and putting it inside the patient.
This microchip actually has, in this particular case, 100 wells in it. So we can actually put sensors in different wells and follow the progression of the cancer to see if a patient's doing well.
We look at the ways that the tumor local environment shuts down the patient's tumor-specific immune response. So it's essentially ways that we can encourage or empower a patient's own immune response to fight cancer.
Part of the lab has been focused on nanotechnologies, really small materials, 1/1000th of a human hair.
It's like a Trojan horse. We actually build the polymeric materials that encapsulate the drug and allow that drug to get into the cancer cells.
My research group focuses on the pathways that make sure that cells divide accurately, which are, of course, the same pathways that, when they get mutated and altered, are the causes of cancer.
I'm hoping to figure out how cancer cells leave the primary tumor, how they initially survive in a distant tissue, where they in turn begin to create a new growth, that is, a metastasis.
The founding science around the first 2 FDA-approved targeted cancer drugs, Gleevec and Herceptin, was done here at MIT.
The Center for Cancer Research shaped what's happened in the last 30 years in cancer research. And the launch of the Koch Institute is setting us up for another 30 years of that type of success.
If, with the limited technologies we had up to now, we've been able to make such progress, just imagine what we could do with this new set of approaches.
We're changing how people live with cancer.
If it's going to happen anywhere in the world, it will happen in the Koch Institute. And it will happen first there.